before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder. So head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
Welcome to the ESL Mobile Open Recap. My name is AJ and I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Victor, who's replacing Contra for this week, but he managed to steal his shirt.
Yeah, indeed. It's a really nice shirt, I have to say, though. It's nice and comfy. You know, it's been a good day, I think. It's going to be a really good day.
It is, man. Does Contra know you took it, though?
I don't think so.
all, all the better, ladies and gentlemen, boys and
Yeah.
girls. This is the ESL Mobile Open Recap Show once again. If you guys don't know what this is, it is the show where we take all of the action that's happened throughout the whole week, condense that information for you, and blast it out throughout this very, very simple segment. Now, we've got a huge, a ton of games coming up for you guys in here today for us to break down. And Victor, what is the first one that we have on the list?
Oh, we're going to be checking out some Asphalt 9. This is a premier mobile racing game here, and I can't wait to see, you know, because I know that there is a dedicated community to this game here.
Yep.
And I know that, you know, given the right opportunities, we're going to be seeing some really fast guys here on the tracks. And virtual as well, you know, it is a mobile game after all.
Absolutely. Now, before we do jump into Asphalt, though, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how does the community get involved in the ESL Mobile Open? Check this out.
Welcome to ESL Mobile, the home of mobile esports. ESL Mobile is a global program designed to give you an opportunity to compete in your favorite mobile games, featuring multiple game titles taking place in 3 regions and offering 2 levels of competition. There's something here for everyone. ESL Mobile Open is the gateway to competitive play, free to join and open to any resident of our supported regions. This is the best way for you to enjoy the thrill of victory and take your shot at winning cash prizes. Each season of Mobile Open will consist of 2 ladders, and the top competitors from each will qualify for the Mobile Open play-ins. ESL Mobile Challenge is your path to glory. If you are a top competitor in the Mobile Open play-ins, you will earn a spot in the Mobile Challenge season. The top team from each ladder will skip the play-ins and qualify directly for the Mobile Challenge season. This is where you'll have the chance to compete against the best players in your region. At the end of each season, top Mobile Challenge players will compete in the Mobile Challenge Finals to determine a winner and be crowned their region's champion. ESL Mobile is for everyone. This is your opportunity to join a diverse and growing community of players across the world and see just how far you can go.
You know, Victor, the mobile scene, the mobile gaming scene itself has made gaming accessible to everyone around the world. And ESL, what they're trying to do with the ESL Mobile Open now is to get all of that community involved in these small community-based tournaments. And once you get here, it's not that, you know, these small teams are the only ones can participate. Anybody can participate, which means even those pro squads can sign up, which sets it up for these small squads to make a huge name for themselves themselves, because for all you know, a bunch of friends who get together are going to be going forth to beat some of these very, very big names soon.
Yeah, and that to me is always the beauty about esports, right? It's become so accessible now, especially in this current year. And I think like this is definitely going to be a huge motivation, especially with the amount of initiative that ESL is doing here to really bring mobile gaming to the fold. I think it's really exciting to see where this is going to lead us to in the next few months.
Absolutely. So when you jump into the ESL Mobile Open, how do you climb up the ladder and get to the point that you want to be, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Check this video out.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark. No fear, getting ready for the ride. Yeah, stepping into the light. No limit, aim high. No limit, the prize is mine.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
back against the wall. Still I'm standing tall.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That's exactly how you go in there, jump up that ladder, and make sure you guys get the opportunity to have people like us shout your names out and then come back in and recap your performance in the weekly recap show as well.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what we got in store for you guys this week here, because from the list of stuff I've been seeing here, I think we're going to be in for a pretty nice show here today.
Absolutely. So just like we ran you guys through earlier, right? We kind of teased with the Asphalt 9 Legends, which is exactly the game that we'll be opening up the day with. And a familiar name, that came in and got the highlights last week has dropped in this week as well. And that is the Anoni X for the iOS version. But in terms of the Android gameplays, we've got a new name in here.
Oh yes, Top Copy has now ended up getting a really good time here today. And it's really going to show that, even though you may be on the top of the board, all it takes is for someone to have a much more consistent, much more faster line than you, and he will be able to take up a top. And that's why a game like Asphalt 9 makes it so competitive, right? Because you're running on the same tracks, you're running on the same condition. The only differential is really like how well timed you are going to be on hitting your boosts, hitting your jumps, hitting your drifts, and that consistency is really key. As we check out the clips here from Asphalt 9, starting off with Top Copy from Indonesia, running the Porsche Cayenne GT4, and you can see that he's been having a really good run here, having seen his replay. I mean, just really good boost control, nailing the jumps here, making sure that he takes a nice clean line through all of this. No worries about the crates and all that. That does not slow your time down at all. But hitting those boosts, that is exactly what you need to do. So very nice, clean jump over here. Gets actually right on top of the bridge there. That's very well done here from Top Copy. Picks up the golden boost as well, keeping that boost meter very well managed there, using the drift button as well to cut off the boost when he doesn't need it. Now this is where he's going to have to find a really good line here. Finds exactly what he needs to do. Gets a really good boost here. Gets a little bit of a jump as well, and a little bit of style points to go with that as well. That's practically a 1080 or even 1180, I think, going so many turns around. But Top Copy, again, still maintain that boost, still able to keep a good drift here. Keeps his lines nice and clean. And the thing is that in a game like Asphalt 9, especially at this stage where it's all-time attacks, it's really down to practice. So you can tell that Top Copy has probably ran this track so many different times. He knows exactly what's the ideal and optimal line to take here. And on top of the fact that he's just nailing all of his boosts and all his jumps perfectly, he was able to maintain that all to the end. And he takes the top spot here with a time of 122.908. Then we've got returning here again, Anoni X, the man to beat, I think, from the iOS crowd. And certainly he's bringing that Cayman GT4 to a really, really high-stakes race here. So again, just hitting the same lines, super consistent. I've seen like his lines that he ran last week as well, and I can tell that this guy probably is going to be one of my favorites actually when we start to get into the actual challenger level of this competition.
Yeah, he kind of butchered the landing on the top of the bridge here, but it didn't really matter to him, did it? Because he still managed to shave off a couple of milliseconds and do slightly better than Top Copy, although it doesn't really affect it because, you know, Top Copy is in the Android version and he's in the iOS, but absolutely well played by Anonyx. And just like you mentioned earlier, right, it is all about the technical abilities and getting these timings right, using those different sorts of nitro boosts in those specific situations to guarantee them the best ability to maintain that speed, right? You know, Asphalt 9, or the Asphalt brand itself recently crossed its 1 billionth download. And what a crazy milestone to hit, Victor.
Yeah, I'm super happy for them to be able to nail that. I mean, it goes to show that this game still has a lot of potential, even though it's already hit 1 billion downloads. I'm pretty sure they could go for 1 billion more because everyone needs to be able to jump on this. It's the most accessible way for you to experience racing in its purest form.
Yeah.
And you're seeing these players like NONEX and Top Copy. It really gives me a lot of hope to see that this kind of competitiveness will actually continue on throughout this mobile open project.
And it will, and we want to just see the competition get even tighter and tighter. I mean, as it is Asphalt 9 Legends, that's what it's all about, right? It's the fight of the milliseconds. It's not the fight of the seconds, right? And from the example that Top Copy as well as AnonyX just clearly showed us, you don't have to take the tracks in the exact same way. You don't have to take the tracks in the exact same, line of movements or actions, not necessarily hitting those 360s exactly like each other, but as long as you can maintain your speed and take care of your nitrous usage, you should be able to score a perfect run for yourself, just like what they've done.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always about optimizing and optimizing and optimizing. You know, you're running so many practice runs on the same track just to find what the perfect line is. Make sure you tighten up your timings, making sure that, you know, even if you make a little mistake on corner one, maybe you can make up that time later on in the track. So very well done here from our boys in the Asphalt 9 categories. And like I said, like looking at just the way they've been running their time attacks so far, it just tells me that when we actually start to see battles here, it's going to be really, really hot.
I cannot wait because those takedowns are definitely what I'm looking forward to. Will we have any dirty takedowns, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls? We will see if we do. We'll take a quick short break, and when we come back, Brawl Stars will be online.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the wait's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. It is time for the stars to jump into that brawl, and oh, did they brawl it out, Victor. We have got a true MVP squad who's on quite the untouchable run at the moment.
Yeah, they're talking about kicks, and boy, oh boy, I mean, they've been continuing a dominant streak, you know, over the last 2 weeks, and it seems like there's not going to be anything to stop them so far because, you know, all the matches they've been through has always been like one-sided, total domination, and I think like they're quickly setting themselves up to be one of the favorites, I think, in the Brawl Stars tournaments. But the thing is that, we're also starting to see that some of the other teams as well, particularly Jupiter, are starting to catch up as well. They're probably not as consistent as Kicks right now. I mean, Kicks having an incredible streak at the moment, but it'll be a matter of time. Once these two titans, you know, start to clash against each other, you're going to see sparks fly.
Absolutely, man. And this was the match, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, between Last Wolf as well well as Kicks. And well, it was Kicks the one who was kicking every single one of those stars out of their way as they went in there for those saves.
Yeah, Toxic with an amazing dive there as Daryl was able to, he saw the save was low, he knew that all he needed to do was get on it, get the damage done, because on a high map like this, you know, the objective is always the key, and you always want to be able to do damage on the save. As you can see, the use of a Jessie here is brilliant because she can place the turret so far forward, is able to do so much damage on the save. There was literally nothing that Lone Wolf could do in that situation, and then we were seeing another dominant run here. Though Fauzi was able to hold them back somewhat, again, the Jessie pick was just too strong in a map like Heist.
Yeah, this was the fight between the Sunny Side Up against the last Wolf, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And of course, you know, just absolute annihilation towards that very end.
I know, I mean, so brilliant that run there by Abigail, because like he saw that the save was really low, he had the ultimate, he just unleashed it and just landed perfectly, and the extra hit there on top was just beautiful. Even Win, who was also playing a Barley, couldn't do anything there by that point. There's too much damage done.
And you know, some of the community members that I was sitting down and watching this match with, they were literally annoyed. They were like, oh no, how could you let him get back there? You know, you should have shut him down earlier. And that's exactly what we are talking about. Right. So many of you out there who are always sitting down, jumping into lobbies together with your friends, you guys have what it takes. Jump into the ESL Mobile Open. Don't just bring the talk. Let's go in there and walk the walk.
Yeah, so this is another run here. We saw Kicks again having another dominant streak, this time against a team called Random Team, ironically enough. But again, keeping up that dominant streak, I mean, it just looked like there was no contest at all between the two teams there. I mean, Kicks, again, brilliant, using the stew here to zone out the opponents, while, again, using the Jessie, the core of the composition here from Kicks. And that turret does so much damage, it also is able to keep other heroes zoned out, and they don't deal with that. Yeah.
The old president just went running behind them, and they're like, yeah, it's all right. Please go right ahead, sir. Yeah. We'll take your safe out anyway.
And Jackie even had to use her ultimate in order to take out the turret. But again, the Jessie already took out so much damage. She was able to bring it up again in front of that save. So by that point, it was all over. Kicks again on a dominant streak, 11-0 right now. Can anyone stop them at this point?
And that's the question, not we. It's not for us to answer. It's for you guys at home to answer. If you guys are watching these matches and you guys are wondering, what in the world? Is this the quality? Well, jump in and allow Kicks to attempt to kick you out of the ring. But of course, they might just fail and we might just see some new dominant ones that could just be them.
I mean, it could be anyone. It could be you, it could be me, it could even be you at home. So, you know, it is the perfect kind of game to just pick up and play. It's one of those games where, you know, it's easy to learn, but difficult to master. Yes. And the masters of this game, you certainly have to give the hats off to them, because the game, you know, of Brawl is deceptively easy, but then once you actually delve into the details of it, there's a lot of esports potential in this game. And that's why I think, you know, especially for you folks at home, it's probably one of the few games on the list here that I highly recommend that you just pick up and play, because it's just so easy to just jump in, start brawling, and start winning.
Yeah, and very similar to Asphalt as well. A 2-year-old can pick it up. You can jump in there. The controls are easy enough for you to jump in and try to master, but to be able to reach to the esports level, though, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a totally different question. Sitting down at the top 3 now, Victor, it's going to be Queen Nai, Jupiter, as well as Kicks team with the perfect score, let me add, 11-0 so far. And of course, Jupiter, one right there behind them, haven't had that one game just yet. They might be able to outshine Kicks, but of course, we have to wait and see.
We have to wait and see, but I just can't wait to see the day that Jupiter and Kicks team is going to fight against each other. It's going to be... Sparks are going to fly, fireworks are going to go out everywhere, and you're going to be seeing one heck of a brawl between the two of them. But, you know, looking at the other side of the teams here, you know, we got Sunny Side Up as well, having a nice little run against Last Wolf, who, despite their loss to Kicks team, was still able to net a top 6 spot here. So, good job to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just the week 2 of the qualifier ladder, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've got so much more of this action coming up for you.
Yeah, so not to miss out as well are some of the other lists, other names here in the list. Usha Pinel Ravi, Legionnaire Esports, Coca Kabaka, and Rise Esport. They are still a little bit lower, but then you can see that they're not too far off from either of the top fives there. So I think if they can actually pull a good streak of wins together, that could certainly propel them pretty high up and possibly into a top 5 spot.
Yeah, and here's the interesting part, right? Rise Esports, although they have that 4 wins and 6 losses, their points still don't match up to Koba Koba, who sit right there up top above them. So it's not just a matter of just going in there and making sure you pick those wins up. It's also a case of going in and making sure you rake your points up on that ladder, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So it's and you've already watched the ladder format. Make sure you take note of that. Go in, get it done together with your squads.
My God, this bear is so cuddly.
I know, right?
I love it. And the best part is like I love Nita. I'm basically a Nita main, so this bear is just perfect. I just want to bring this home now.
We still need it for next week, my man.
Ah, man. Oh well. Don't worry.
We're gonna have a quick short break, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. When we come back, PUBG Mobile.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up. Level up.
All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open Recap Show. This is week 2 in here, and the action has just been absolutely crazy so far, only to get crazier.
Yeah, it certainly is. And with PUBG M up on the list here, you know the action is going to be crazy, crazy, crazy because, you know, with 16 teams on one map and only one team can remain. So you know that they have to fight tooth and nail in order to reach that final circle, and you can guess a lot of action will happen along the way.
Yeah, and in Battle Royales, you know, one of the most common things that comes into interference with your performance is the stroke of luck, right? When you go in there for your drop zones, you really don't know exactly who's going to be going in there tailing you, and you don't really know what sort of loots you're going to be able to get early on in the game, which can really change the landscape of that whole match drastically. So to be able to go against all of those odds, to be able to go against all of these great teams in there and still pick up that winner chicken dinner at the end of the day is nothing short of an amazing feat, Victor.
Oh, certainly remarkable, and especially, you know, given that a lot of the pro teams sort of strategy is always sort of like mitigating some of the RNG, but at the same time just setting up the odds of success. And that's pretty much key for every single team, I think, that it tries to play competitive PUBG. And the thing is that winning that chicken dinner always satisfying. It never gets old.
Never gets old at all. And of course, one of the most important aspects is understanding the terrain around you and using your terrain to your advantage. And that was something that, you know, Dujaba and Joko definitely did in their match in here today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We will be showing you a couple of clips from that match. A lot of crazy action, of course, went back and forth. We tried to grab almost all of the best action and clip it all into one reel highlight for you guys. So, and don't worry, right? When by the time that comes up, you guys will be able to witness that. But which squad, apart from Dujaba Samjoko, impressed you in here, Victor?
Oh, crucial gaming, obviously. Like in round 4, they nailed a chicken dinner there, and that was really crucial for them, pun intended, because that actually propelled them really high up into the leaderboard. So
Yeah.
very crucial. So seeing the first round 2, group 3 here, that was Dujaba Samjoko's winner chicken dinner game. We did see a little bit of a second floor battle here. Really good shot there from Zeb Palmer to be able to take one down as he jumps off the balcony. Then this again, to your point about using the terrain to your advantage. The teams on the high ground, they cannot stay on the high ground for too long because they're too exposed, even on a hilly side like this. And you can see Mr. Joe just absolutely wrecking it, just making this place his own, and even gets a Jeep as well from a long shot. I mean, man, this guy is literally on fire.
Yeah, not staying in that same exact position, but using the terrain as well as your, perfect defense mechanism to back away and then pop out of nowhere and go in for those shots is what was able to help a lot of these squads. The exact same meta being used over and over. Why? If it's not broken, don't go in there and change it, right? And towards the very end, ladies, German boys and girls, it was Dujaba Samjoko that managed to pick up that winner chicken dinner. And this was the round for Group 1, where Crucial Gaming, like you mentioned, Victor, that took the win.
Yeah, they did, and we're just right now just seeing the rest of the teams here. I mean, a very chaotic fight inside this warehouse. Again, close quarters, never the easiest thing to fight in, especially in a game like PUBG Mobile. But certainly they made it work. Now we are seeing Ashura just spotting a lot of teams there, just getting the shots in. Actually gets the knockdown from a distance, and they had no idea what hit them because he is completely alone, just roaming by his lonesome there. And we see Miracle from MYY just going for some long shots, using the Jeep for cover. Oh, and Dream just dreaming of water at the moment because he's literally on fire at this point. But unfortunately, getting crowded around, there was no way. He's probably going to go for a night sleep here. In your dreams, mate.
Yeah, just too easy the way the squads made it look, ladies, German boys and girls. But of course, as that circle came in, squeezing everyone through, it would be just one squad that stood up. And in this crucial moment, they used that terrain once again to their advantage. Of course, the tacticals came out as well. It was the perfect smoke defense that came through, but it would not be enough, Victor.
This is the point where you'd be glad you just picked up that last grenade from that last shack that you just raided a moment ago. Because you gotta need every single grenade in order to reach that final circle there. But look at that, Genius 6 with a good double kill here. And then we got Gio just keeping position while his teammate gets shots done. They managed to get that last man, and Crucial Gaming crucially gets the chicken dinner.
Well, Dujaba Samjoko, Crucial Gaming, ladies, German boys and girls, the two squads that managed to get those highlights, but of course, tons of other teams in there that were vying for the top spot as well. This has just been week 2. Week 3, when they come back, they will be able to pull a couple of tremendous plays for themselves as well. Fingers crossed that they, of course, manage to do, because these two guys will definitely be aiming for the exact same.
Yeah, so hopefully we will see from the leaderboards about who is actually sitting on top at the moment. And you can see DMS Crew, a dominant score there of 191 overall, 84 kill points. So you know they haven't really been just sitting and camping around.
Yeah.
They've been actively going out and getting kills for themselves, and that's key. In a game like PUBG, you cannot afford to be passive all the time. You always have to find the right opportunities and moments to find and get those kills. So DMS Crew ahead of Top Guns, ahead of Zero FCK's Given. Yeah, they are currently the top 3 now in the ladder so far.
Yeah, Zero Given, although they managed to pick up, a couple of more extra kills, in terms of those placements, they just didn't manage to score as well. But it's nothing that they want to, get too much up in arms about, because obviously they know they've got the quality and it's just a couple of matches away. So they just got to go in there and give the exact same sort of an effort. But then again, the teams in Sport 4, 5, and 6, and I definitely want to highlight Onyx Esports, right? Because this sort of promise they've shown us thus far is definitely true, and they're not too far away at all from that 3rd spot.
No, in fact, if they can actually step up the aggression a little bit and get extra kill points, that will certainly propel them very high up. And to their credit, to be able to get so much points just from placements.
Yeah.
Goes to show that they are very consistent, and consistency, having a team that's very consistent in PUBG can be a very scary thing, because you know that you'll always encounter them in that final circle, so you always have to keep them in mind even though you don't encounter them throughout the rest of the match.
Yeah, and speaking of the consistency of, you know, managing those placement points, we spoke about RNG, where it's not really easy to go in and control, and to be able to overcome those odds, to be able to overcome the teams like DMS Crew, Top Guns as well, it's not an easy task, and it's not an easy feat at all. Take a quick look at the second page of the ladder, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've got Intense G, Raftel, Jesper, as well as WSW taking the 9th, 10th, as well as 11th spot in there, and Blacklist International surprisingly sitting down at the 12th point here.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like once other teams start to come like into the fold, like really strong, that's when the teams that initially will be on the top of the board will start to see themselves slip down, you know, gradually. But nevertheless, it's not the end of the world. I mean, top 12 is still very impressive, you know, given how competitive this ladder has been. So I'm pretty sure that if Blacklist International could, you know, find the groove again, you'll see them slowly start to climb up again. Hopefully they'll be back up into the top 8 soon.
Well, the tons of their fans will be wishing for exactly the same. Puma, Balthazar, 99%, as well as Infinite Esports will wrap up the leaderboard for the week 2 for PUBG Mobile, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And that would be it for your shooters. Right after this, we've got a little bit of a slightly more chill-paced game, but in terms of action and, you know, bringing the anxiety on, I would score it right about equal.
Well, that was pretty wild, I have to say. But in any case, yeah, that is going to be a short break, but we'll be back later on with a little bit of report about Wild Rift, so stick around for that.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the light, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up. Level up.
All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open Recap, where we condense all of the weekly action for you. My name is AJ and I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Victor, and this time, Legends of Runeterra.
Yeah, that is right. We're going to be seeing a couple of really interesting highlights here today because, of course, the Scav has been dominating a lot lately in the Legends of Runeterra, but you can see later on he will have quite a few interesting moments, I have to say.
Absolutely. Well, will his reign of terror be stopped, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Was it stopped this week? That's exactly what we'll take a look into, because, of course, when we open up the day, we'll see an example of exactly what makes the Scav so crazy, right? He brings his Nasus deck in, and he absolutely obliterates his opponents here, Victor.
Yeah, he does. I mean, again, he brings out the Nasus immediately, and look at the amount of health and damage that card is able to dole out. I mean, he's got not just one, he's got two of them in his hands right now. So as you can see, he just goes ahead, straight up applies it, gets one check there, that puts him down 9 health, and he top of that, he gets to level up his Nasus card, so that not only increases the damage of his one card, it also does it to the other. And look at that, 12 plus 12 damage, now 13 damage on both cards. That's a lot of damage.
Absolutely, and if you thought that was it, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, nothing else could stop the one and only Scav as he would go in for his final move in this game, and that 9 HP that his opponent had would be obliterated in a couple of moments, Victor. But of course, it was a good fight back as he went in there for those pulls.
I mean, again, the moment he brought down both of those cards, you knew that your Ace's days were numbered here. I mean, look at that. He only had, what, a 3-3-2. That's not going to be enough to do anything at all. So there's literally only one thing left for the Scav to do. Face check all the way. Negative 22 damage. There was no coming back from that.
No. And that was a pretty much the complexion of almost all of the games that this Cav went through. And even when he went on there to take on Tanya Wannabe, Tanya showed him that, you know, there are players who can stand up against him. But of course, he would obliterate Tanya down to that 4 HP point, Victor.
Yeah, very, very low there. And immediately, I guess you guys at home will be wondering, how does Tanya get out of this? Well, the thing is, we'll find out really soon, as the Scav will also find out as well that there's also another way to win in this game. So as you can see, the Scav has a good hand here. I mean, he got an 8-5, 8-7, 8-7. There's plenty of damage on his board. Tanya Wannabe has nothing to do here except to have a whole full deck of cards here. So he's going to try to play these few bunches out, gets the Lysandra out as well, manages to get the upgrade onto it. So you think that, okay, this is fair enough. You can be able to do quite a bit of damage here and hopefully be able to check him down a peg, but that still isn't going to be enough to win the game, isn't it? Well, Tanya, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. So he gets the Ice Veil Archer in his hand here, the Scav does, and he considers taking out the Spectral Matron on the Tanya Wannabe side. So he got 11-17 card to join in as well. So that's still pretty much may put things a little bit even here, but immediately the Scav now just considering his options here because he needs to be able to clear out some of these cards here first. So does that a little bit there, negates the damage completely from that card. Now brings out the 11-17 again, and now with the Watcher brought out as well. Yeah, that's still a lot of damage on the Tanya Wannabe side, but he still needs to find a way to get through the bunch here from the Scav because, again, if you look at his own hand, his hand was so stacked. You'd think that there's no way Tanya Wannabe would be able to get out of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely none. But of course, they would take it head-to-head in a couple of moments, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, which will bring us to the moment where even the Scav thought, oh my goodness, this guy had a couple of cards up his sleeves, and here's exactly what I mean, right? He'll go in for that engagement up early, but it would not be able to go in for the full takedown on Tanya Wannabe. The response that came back through was something that Scav just did not expect.
Yeah, 11 damage done, puts it down to 7, so he technically is still ahead. So he's going to try to put a little bit of damage on the cards, puts one down to 15. Not enough there, I would say. Another Fading Memories will be sent out there, and that at least puts up another Watcher on his end. So now, pretty much, the Scav has nothing left to play here. He just puts out everything on the board. What can Tanya do at this point? Well, as he discovers, well, sometimes you just need to check. Get the cards out of the way. Oh no, what happened to you, Scav? You got no cards left.
And that's it. And that was Tanya's age. He had a couple of cards up his sleeves, and the Scav, on the other hand, had absolutely none. So that's exactly what Victor was pointing out. That's another way you can lose, and unfortunately, Tanya Wannabe takes that win. Unfortunate for Scav, that is. And his quite the streak thus far would have a small little dent in it.
A little bit of a but then again, the Scav has been on such a good run, you know, all throughout the Legends of Runeterra so far in this ESL Mobile Open project. But as Tanya Wannabe shows, you know, sometimes even Titans can fall, even gods can bleed, and even the Scav can run out of cards.
Let's take a quick look at the standings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and see exactly where they stand. The Scav will sit right up top with 1,238 points, 25 wins, 0 draws, but 8 losses. They suffered, of course, one of those from Tanya Wannabe Karpin, as well as Bruce 1915 right there behind the one and only Scav in the second and third place. Bankson as well as Obsequim will be picking up that 4th and 5th place so far, but then, of course, nothing will be, all the same as we move into week 3, because the hot action will continuously flow in.
Yeah, I think the bottom 5 of this top 10 here is going to be super, super competitive, because you can see that they don't really have much of a streak running for them either. I mean, Jarvan, Sanity, Artify are both on a negative streak at the moment. Karpin, with the 8-win streak there, is able to propel himself up onto second place on the board here, despite only having played, 19 games so far? So an incredible run for him.
Yeah.
Perhaps it will still need to work a little harder here if he wants to be able to reach the level of the Scav, but certainly the ladder here, it's going to enjoy this newcomer here, Tanya Wannabe, winning in the most unexpected and the most surprising way there, not least to the Scav.
Not at all. But of course, the 23 to 12 at the moment, Tanya Wannabe is not really doing himself a lot of favors with those losses that he's tanking, but that's exactly how the leaderboard as well as the climb up the ladder, as you guys have seen in the format video thus far, works. You get in there, you play those games, you rake up your points, you win, you get those points, you lose, you get your points deducted. So you need to maintain that streak, Victor.
Yeah, you need to be able to keep bringing in the wins and the wins and the wins, and you can never drop. If you drop too many games there, you're going to drop off the leaderboard really, really fast. So the thing is that for players like the Scav as well, having a 10-win streak, that certainly puts a really big target on his head right there. So I don't know. In the coming weeks, maybe you might see someone else challenge him for that throne, I think.
We just might. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'll take a quick short break, and when we come back, we'll drop into the rift.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the wait's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
Welcome to week 2 of the Mobile Recap Show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Once again, my name is AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Victor, who has stolen Contra's shirt once again. This is exactly what Contra was wearing last week.
I know. I mean, it's such a comfy shirt as well, so I'm glad I picked it up. It's a nice fit, I have to say.
Contra would be thinking, holy crap, when did this guy sneak into my house? This time, as we go in and drop into the rift, we will be taking a quick look at the players from Thailand as they jumped in for some crazy games. Of course, this was the mid-fight, and it was Dion Strategist going up against the Diamond Dog, where Dion took the win here, Victor.
Yeah, they took the win, but look at the fight that Diamond Dog put up here. Again, they really are trying hard here to defend the tier 2 turret. The Dion Strategist, they just really try to get him in the face and put up a Hex State ultimatum, but they're only able to take down the Braum. But then again, look at that. Diamond Dog slowly came back. They clawed back all of that and managed to get down 3 kills as well. That at least kept the game going for quite a bit.
Well, keeping the game going, it was Invade Esports fighting up against one of the most popular teams in the esports world, EVOS. And EVOS brought the fire, but this was the point where Invade Esports thought, you know what, enough is enough, and they went to strike right back weak, my friend.
Yeah, they saw that they were low and they realized they were pulling back, so they took the opportunity. They capitalized heavily on that retreat there, and they were able to pick up a good couple of kills. The Hex State Ultimatum also being brought out. Too much damage there, even for the Gragas to be able to handle, and Invade Esports were able to take this game.
Yeah, man. A clean ace taken up there. And this was the fight later on against Clutch Gamers between EVOS Esports and them. And EVOS showed exactly why they are a squad that is feared in the Thailand scene. Absolute perfection with the cleanup.
Yeah, I mean, 0 deaths and 4 kills. It doesn't get better than that. So this was another match here between Clutch Gamers and EVOS Esports. This time it was EVOS trying to bang the fight to them. And look at his Gragas casket. Dragging them all back into their lap, getting the kills in. But Clutch Gamers still able to trade out quite well, actually. So despite that really good ultimate there, Clutch Gamers in the end couldn't really stand up to the challenge, and EVOS were coming on top.
Yeah, King of Gamers, as they took on Clutch, they were going in for the move, but this was the move, the jump by Akali that just stunned the community, Victor.
Oh yeah, just look at how far she jumps later on, because you see the Camille being so low in the backline, jumps all the way from the bottom right, still gets the kill onto the Camille, and with that, I mean, they were able to do the clean up here pretty much, and Clutch Gamers was still able to bring this game in.
Well, we will witness the Baron takeover as Buriram United as well as Tarum went in for that fight. They will go in and just invite all of those players in for a team fight and obliterate them before they will pick the Baron up later on in the game as well.
Yeah, I think that was an invitation that Tower would have loved to have missed, actually, for the first time. And this actually was my favorite clip of the series here, because this was a very spirited defense here for the Ezreal. Again, he had the advantage of having the Nexus doing most of the damage, but the fact that this was that never give die, the kind of attitude that I love to see here from esports.
Well, the Clutch Gamers, they went in there for the absolute ace on the King of Gamers in this fight for that Drake. And, you know, this was something that the King of Gamers just did not see coming.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was that they thought they had this in the bag, but look at that. I mean, Clutch Gamers, living up to the name there, did a clean sweep there, an ace there, in fact. And, man, I mean, that was what a statement there from Clutch Gamers.
And this is Sek and his steal on that Baron. And these are the moments that really riles up the whole community. Yeah. That Lee Sin getting that damage done. And now the Lee Sin has definitely been a character that has been making such a huge impact at the Rift recently with the, you know, buffs on him as well as all of the updates on the items. He's been absolutely unstoppable in the jungle. Yeah. And even as we move on to the Malaysian scene, we will see flashes of Lee Sin jumping in and out with his boot to the faces.
Yeah, I mean, this patch has been so good for Lee Sin players as of late, and we've been definitely seeing a lot of good highlighted plays. But, you know, the steals from the Lee Sin, every time it does that, I mean, like, not bad for a blind man.
Let's take a quick look at the group stages day 2, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And this is for the MY side. As we see, it was the team of Geek Fam taking on RTZ Underrank. And Rumpel, with his Lee Sin once again, goes through and gets all of the deed done.
Yeah, I mean, RTC underranked. They aren't slouches, actually, but the thing is that Geek Fan was just playing on a whole other level. I mean, Rumpel specifically, I mean, look at this. Pump in and out and kill taken right beneath the tower. Didn't even take that much damage to begin with here. And we can see that this patch has not only been good for the Lee Sin, it's also been good for Gragas. Look at the amount of damage he was able to tank up there, practically handing the kill over there from the Olaf. Then this was another good attempt there to try to dive in. This time there was no tower for RTC to back up into. They still want to try to bring the fight here, but look at that Rumpel, able to keep the zone there, gets a good flash in front, picks up the kill onto the Galio, and at that point, all they had to do is just clean house here, take out the Olaf, and pretty much dominate the rest of the series.
Yeah, at this point, it's not a Geek Fam highlight, it's just an all-out Rumpel and Lee Sin highlight reel, man. And this was, of course, going to continue throughout the whole game as Geek Fam went through to obliterate the players from RTZ Underrank. They would focus in on those inhibitor turrets. They take the Baron lane turret as well as the mid lane, went in there for the Nexus, and nothing else could have been done by RTZ. It was game over.
My favorite part was actually after the match there, Rumpel gave an interview, said that this actually does prove that he might be the best Lee Sin in Malaysia. So that just adds quite a bit of spice to my tea.
And of course, you know, the likes of Geek Fam and, you know, Bajai Dragons, they are going to be vying for the top spot in the Malaysian scene. But the way Geek Fam has been taking these fights together with Rumpel, just annihilating everyone at the jungle, going in for those gangs, you know, Geek Fam truly looks like they are unstoppable. We have dubbed Rumpel the king of touch and go. He gets in, gets the job done, jumps right out.
And exactly, that's exactly how you need to play as a Lee Sin. You know, a smart Lee Sin knows how to keep his distance, how to find the right fights to take, and then when to pull back. But Rumpel, I mean, all throughout there, he was been trying to find all these unique kills all the way to back lane. Look at how low he is here. He's still able to stay close enough there to the Janna to get enough heal, and the rest of the team there of Geek Fam just using sheer numbers and superiority here, we're able to win out this fight as a whole. And I mean, that left RTZ in the dust practically.
He even goes in for the save here. Look at Shang getting chased down. Rumpel comes right back for the push, and they back away. Nobody wants to take that fight up against Rumpel.
Yeah, I mean, the Gragas is so tanky nowadays, and especially in this patch. This was a dragon fight here that we saw between Homies and Lynx Esport, and it was quite a good attempt there to try to get for the steal, but it didn't quite get through. And unfortunately, for the rest of them, they were just cleaning up house here. Homie just able to get a few kills out, and they try to come back for a little bit more. This time it's going to be for the Cloud Drake, but unfortunately they just interrupted their little take there to try to bring the fight here to Homie. And look at that, already able to pop up the GA on the D-Young, immediately tries to pop him down. Look at him, so low. Gato finds the backline, gets the kill onto him. That Fiora was out for the count.
Nothing they could do against the players of Lynx Esports, and they would go in for the all-out push. The Ziggs was so low, almost on the horizon, on the brink of annihilation and an ace, but they will manage to get away. But of course, not for long, as the Lynx went in for that shutdown gameplay at the end.
Yeah, look at that. Outlux ultimate was able to do a lot of damage there, so you'd think that Lynx would be thinking about pulling back here, but no, they still kept the pressure going. They saw the Nexus was low. You can see on the top there, they were trying to do their best to take the damage done. They were able to get 1 kill, 2 kill. Can they get a third? Yes, they will. And unfortunately for them, the minions have already arrived, and all the Rojak needed to do was just get one last hit there on the Nexus, and that sealed the deal.
And the way Lynx Esports took it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it was a clean 2-0 victory. This was the second game as they went in there for the push. None of those players were able to stand up to the likes of Lynx Esports in the second game as well. Yelang, of course, losing his life unfortunately there, but it would be one of the very few, you know, times that Lynx Esports would drop the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that they were growing very aggressive in that early game here, so you can see the game was pretty even up until this point here. You look at the Gragas there, his health was really low, but he still was able to get back into the fight there, was able to still tank up a lot. The rest of the team was able to pop the GA there onto Jojo, but no, look at that, the damage was still coming in there as they tried to make it a retreat. A little bit of a tornado there, wasn't able to slow them down too much there, as Lynx was still able to get the kill onto the Diana. A killing spree here for the Corki, and with that, the writing was pretty much on the wall.
Yeah, it wasn't an ace, but it was almost, and it was just enough, because the final player had to go in and for a forced recall anyway, leaving the match and the map wide open for the players of Lynx Esports to just go in for that absolute annihilation. And even towards the very end, they would just delay for time, take down all of those inhibitors, and just go in for that final push. And this was the final one between Splatzone, Insomniacs, as well as Sem9. And Sem9 has been one of those teams who have been so impressive in the Malaysian scene, Victor.
Oh yeah, they have been really lighting things on fire here, you know, in the open scene as well as the pro scene. And I'm glad to see that they're staking a claim for themselves here in the Icon series here. So this was a really good push here that SM9 did. They were able to take down all the inhibitor turrets. So pretty much they were on the losing end here, the red team was, and pretty much all the hits they needed to do, the turrets and the minions coming in, there weren't much that the Nexus could do to stay alive in that situation.
And of course, we thought the likes of Insomniacs could at least pull one back against Team Sem9, but nope, this was the point where we realized it was all over before things even started, man. The annihilation, every single time Sem9 stepped into those team fights against the players from Insomniacs, Splatzone, Insomniacs, my apologies, they literally made those players go splat on their windscreens.
That's a funny way to put it, but then again, Sam9 has been so strong and so consistent, being able to take fights in order to achieve their objectives here. I mean, taking the Drakes and then the turrets as well, and just keeping lots of good patience and control throughout these fights here. And this was one point here where Sam9 tries to get a jump here onto Insomniacs, almost catches them out there. The Janna tried her best to try to keep things alive for her team. The Corki unfortunately gets himself caught out in the outside there. A little bit unfortunate to have joined in the fight a little too late. And this was when they tried to go onto the Infernal Drake. Sam9 again just keeping the rest of Insomniacs at bay here. Look at that. The Corki just jumping in, doing so much damage onto Dun. And the jump there by Akali was able to finish off the Corki last time there. And wow, a triple kill for the Akali. Impressive play here.
At the end there, it once again almost ended up in a ace, but of course it was more than enough with the 4 players taken down. Nothing else they could do. Of course, later on in the day, the Giant Dragons would take on the Eminence Raptors. You know, the mythical creature taking on one that has already gone out of the listings in what can roam the earth. Of course, the mythical creatures would go on to prove why they will fly above the rest.
Yeah, again, BJD just proving that dragons are better than dinosaurs, apparently. But then again, you can't really argue with the result here. I mean, a 5-0 lead here, especially in the opening moments of the game here, it's certainly spelled a lot of doom here for Eminence Raptors. But they still tried their best. They still tried to find those fights. But BJD, the amount of damage they were able to bring on their end, and the control as well, a double slam there was able to lock them down long enough for them to pick up the kills. And it was practically a delayed ace here as they just clean house on this top lane.
Yeah, and whenever Bajaya Dragons wants to go in there for the objectives, nobody can stop them. And you know, the true mark of a champion is knowing when to pull the trigger, and that's exactly what how I can describe the Bajaya Dragons. They know exactly when to go in and engage those team fights, and when you engage them when it's not a favorable situation, they will back away, and they call and they pull that off to perfection in game number 1, and in game number 2, they would show us the exact same thing, Victor.
So the thing was that they tried to first keep control over the Gragas because they knew that he's been a very core pick here in BJD's side. But the thing is that once he started to come online, once they were able to get the ultimates out, I mean, the Rev Herald fight here really shows a lot of the potential that BJD had, even from the get-go. I mean, just picking up the kills here, they were just able to clean up a clean sweep here right in front of the Rift Herald's pit.
Yeah, you can't really do anything against Bajaya Dragons when they want to go in there for the objectives. You go in for the approach on Baron or Shelly, they will make sure they flush you out first, and this was the other team fight that was just so crazy towards the end.
Yeah, BJD again, they were literally having Eminence Raptors on the run at this point. I mean, they've pushed out practically all their lanes, and even though the tier 1 turret at the bottom was not quite done yet, you can see Zizune just going so strong there on the Garen. But then again, the Garen, he is so tanky. Yeah. He's literally the spin-to-win champion, so you know that he can stay on the front line for a very, very long time. And the fact that he was able to stay there was able to allow BJD to pick up the inhibitor turret in the mid, go straight up against the Nexus, gave no chance at all for the Eminence Raptors, and that was the way the cookie crumbles.
Exactly right, and when you see the way that Garen was played, you can already tell what sort of players the Bajaya Dragons are. Absolute confidence beaming through, and what more can you say? They are literally one of the top teams of Malaysia. If anything, most would argue the top squad. And you know, at the moment it's rumored that maybe only Geek Fam can stop them in their tracks, but Sam9 is slowly climbing the ladder up as well, and we might just see something crazy happen up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. As we move into week 3, let's take a quick look at the leaderboards and see where do the teams stand.
Yeah, so Bajaya Dragons obviously taking the top spot here. They've won 4 rounds, didn't even drop a single game, so they have the maximum score of 4 points. But again, to your point, Geek Fam and Sam9, they are very, very close. They lost 1 round each, so there's maybe just one point off there. So the thing is that they certainly do stand a chance here to try to bring a challenge to the Bajaya Dragons. But not to forget as well, we still have another 5 more teams here that are in the running. I mean, Lynx Esports still able to keep themselves up in the top 4, just ahead of RTZ on the rank. I mean, they had 2 wins, 2 losses so far. Not terrible, but not great either.
Yeah. So for all of you who are looking at this board and are wondering what are the points and what is the score difference and how it works, each and every single time these teams go into a match and they manage to win that match, which is a best out of 3, they will get 3 points. But each and every single time they drop a single match within the best out of 3, they will lose a single point. That's why you see the score difference. Now, the score difference will be used as a tiebreaker later on in the game. So that's exactly how we will be able to see who moves on to the next chapter. Bajai Dragons, Geek Fem, and Sem9 sitting down at the top. Lynx Esports right there behind them. But obviously, we've got so many more weeks to go because this is a single round robin as far as all of these teams are concerned. So each and every single one of these squads will meet the others once before they move on to the playoffs. So a lot more hot action coming down here at the Rift, Victor.
Yeah, indeed. I can't wait to see what the future weeks will bring. But if this group stage is any indication, I think we're going to be in for a real treat, I think, as the time goes on for the Wild Rift. If the coming weeks are going to be any indication, this top 3 is going to be a real competitive bunch. So you guys at home are going to be really in for a treat if you guys are following the Wild Rift community here.
Absolutely. And the community is just growing, right? So much of room for all of you in here to come in and prove yourselves as players. So many of you who can come in here and back your teams up as well. But I would highly encourage the former because we want more squads to jump into the ESL Mobile Open. Why? Because I want to shout out all of your names as you guys run in there and, just pile through all of those players. Are you guys going to be the next best Lee Sin user in Malaysia, or will Rumpel be able to take that title and keep it for himself? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, right now, the biggest fight is going on between Geek Fem as well as the likes of Bajaya Dragon, with Sem9 just stepping into the fray, but we want more.
Yeah, we want more action, we want more players, we want more pros to join in the ranks, and we want more of you guys at home to become pros. So what are you waiting for, I suppose? The Mobile Open is literally open for everyone, and you can see there are lots of dates here that you guys can use in order to join in our action here.
Yeah, it's not just for the Wild Rift. You guys can jump in for Brawl Stars, Legends of Runeterra, PUBG Mobile. These are the dates for the upcoming tournaments. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, take a quick screenshot of this, take a photo so you remember it. Make sure you get in there with your squads, get in there to the ESL website and sign yourselves up, all right?
Yeah, unfortunately for the PUBG Mobile crowd, we're only going to be running cups. We are not going to have any more ladder tournaments here, but certainly do check them out because the teams in there, they're super competitive and they've been doing a lot of really good plays there. So definitely worth checking out here this 27th of April and the 4th of May.
And these are your upcoming broadcast dates that you guys can mark off on your calendars. And when you do have the time, jump in. If you don't have the time to catch these broadcasts, then you know what you can do. Tune in to the ESL Mobile recap show that Contra, Victor, and I will be bringing up to you guys, and we will bring you all of the hottest condensed action.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to be here all throughout this whole project, making sure that you guys at home will be able to keep up to date, let's put it that way, about the upcoming matches as well as whatever action that's transpired over the past week here, because there's certainly going to be a lot of it in the coming weeks, and we're both me and AJ are going to be here to bring you guys all the action one by one.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning in today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you so much for your time. Until next time, take care, take great care of your health, drink lots of water, and we'll catch you.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner. So head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the wait's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up. Level up.